Welcome back to the show, everyone. Nice to see you. Hope you're having a nice week. We'll talk about booze, but give me about 5 minutes first. A little bit of an organic video here. Actually had a agent that we work with. She's over in San Diego. Great agent. She takes great care of people. Very nurturing, motherly, good person. Things I'm not, right? So she left me a message. She was like, she just had this nightmare client over there that she had to fire, right? She was telling me about some of the stuff that this asshole did, and I was just like, I can riff off of that for a video for 3 minutes to entertain you in the car this morning. So here's the deal. What is your agent and what are they not? So let me just try to make this as clear as I can. Your agent is not there to be your friend. And I know this is upsetting news. Like, what? Like, like they're supposed to like be my friend, and they're not. It's a nice byproduct if your agent eventually sort of becomes your friend and you guys get together for family barbecues and shit like that. But it's really not the point. They're there to represent you and help you get what you want. In the process of helping you get what you want, they are not always going to be your friend. And in fact, sometimes they may actually be the bad guy by your perception, even though they're being the good guy. So I look at it like this. I am not here to tell you what you want to hear. I'm not here to be your cheerleader. I'm not here to do any of that, really. Like, I might have to do it sometime to perk you up and dust you off because you didn't get the last 2 offers accepted, and slap you on the ass and send you back into the game. But that's not my strength, right? Your agent needs to tell you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear. For example, so Jeannie's client said he was only willing to do $500 on his down payment. And he was not, I'm going to demand that the sellers pay my closing costs. Guys, we don't write the rules of the game, okay? The market at large, which is much bigger than any individual agent's influence, the market at large is what determines the rules of the game, okay? So if it is because of the Fed and we have low interest rates, right, and we have high demand and low supply, meaning it's a really good time to sell your house and it's a very competitive time to try to buy a house, well, that means the rules of the game are you as a buyer have to go with the flow and understand what that market is dictating you do. So things like in a competitive market, being like, I'm not going to pay closing costs, then motherfucker, you're not getting a house. It's pretty much that simple, everyone. There are exceptions to that rule. I'm being a little overly broad, but if a client came to me and they're like, here's my terms, I'm not doing this, then cool. I can't help you, nor do I want to help you, because 9 times out of 10, probably 95 times out of 100, this is just going to be a train wreck because you're an unreasonable human being. And unfortunately, you're not reading the signs and the really fucking obvious news that it's a seller's market, which means you as a buyer have to follow the rules of the game. This is not rocket science, everyone. I don't get paid to tell you what you want to hear. That like, oh yeah, we can get you that house. Oh yeah, we'll get it for less than they're asking. We'll get them to pay your closing costs. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? Just to waste my time for shits and giggles because this is so fun, driving around town in the cold and opening up doors and writing extensive paperwork every time we want to make an offer? No, that's not. Spoiler alert, everyone, because I tell this to people all the time when not all the time, but most of the time when people email in, they're like, thinking about getting my real estate license, going to real estate. And I'm like, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. It's a toxic industry. Like, the only reason I do it is because of the way that we get to do it. And we get to work with cool clients, and I get to go shoot machine guns and do cool, wild shit. And that somehow is how my real estate business is built. Beyond that, you shouldn't get into it because it's a toxic industry. But that's a rant, whatever, But this thing is a tennis match, everyone. I talk about this with clients. I'm like, look, I'm going to hit you the ball, right? Initially, you hit me the ball. You said, I'm interested in buying a house. And I said, cool, let's jump on a call together. And you told me what you want. And I'm like, perfect, we got to get you pre-approved, right? And we're hitting the ball back and forth. And the first big time that you have to hit the ball back is you have to go get your pre-approval done. If you don't do that, I know you're not serious. You're just here to waste my time, which is why I requested that you do that. One, because logistically, you have to have that unless you're a cash buyer. It is a complete fucking waste of time for us to look at houses if you haven't hit the ball back and talked to the lender, submitted your documents, and got your pre-approval done. And this concept of hitting the ball back and forth continues throughout the entire real estate process. I send you a group of listings, right? And I'm like, here's 10 things that might work for you. And if 3 days later you haven't looked at it, oh, you didn't hit the ball back, which means this isn't a game anymore. It's just one person standing out on a court hitting a ball to no opponent, right? It's not a game. Like, you're not cooperating under the rules of the game. That's how this thing works, everyone. The moment that you get unreasonable and you're like, oh, it's a crazy seller's market and I'm not going to pay closing costs, I'm only going to do 500 down and all this kind of shit, like, just stop. Then don't buy a house. Then keep renting your apartment. No judgment on my part. You're unreasonable, but it doesn't impact my day. It only impacts my day if we've been working together for a month and you burned my time. So, what's the point of this video? I don't think there is one. I don't really think that we've reached any resolution here. If you've made it this far, I'm a combination of impressed and disappointed that you have so little to do that you've listened to this bullshit rant for the last 5 minutes. So let's go ahead and wrap it up, everyone. Talk about booze real quick. I got a, how should we word this? I got a healthy amount of new bottles that I required over the past week, and I'm excited about it. Unfortunately, my bourbon like shelving unit is out of space, so I don't actually know where I'm going to put all this new stuff. But this was a score. I've been looking for Willet for a while. We just don't have it in Utah. It's not a Utah bourbon that we have, unfortunately. So Willet, you know, this is their pot still, right? But this is kind of their standard thing. I will tell you, I largely have wanted this for a while just for the bottle, because it's just the coolest packaging. It's the coolest packaging, everyone. Look at this, right? Right? Super cool. So I am excited to try that. And then this is I was excited. So I actually saw this yesterday. And I was completely over budget already from a run a couple of days prior. And that did not stop me from buying several bottles yesterday. So this is their Family Estate Rye. Really excited that I found this. I was not expecting to find this yesterday. And as I told my friend Crispy, who is editing these videos and all of our 1911 Syndicate stuff, as I try to turn him into an alcoholic, I'm like, look, the thing is, when you see stuff, you have to be willing to get it right then, because you might not see this for another 6 months. So even though you weren't planning on buying it yesterday, you have to buy it yesterday, because if you don't, I don't know when you're going to see it again. So I was excited about this. I'll probably save this for just a little bit. This is, you know, it's about a $60 bottle. It's nothing crazy. I wouldn't call it a celebration bottle. It's, you know, a good tier of bottle, but I probably will save it a little just because I don't know how much access I'll have to get new ones. I don't know why you guys watch this channel. Just absolute. We don't do anything productive on it. But thanks for stopping by. If you need real estate help, let us know. If you like watching grown men play in the outdoors with firearms, go over to the 1911 Syndicate channel. Beyond that, keep your dogs in good health. Watch their paws as it's snowing and get that salt and chemical and shit on them. It will ruin their paws. So please be careful with your dogs in the winter, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Take care. We'll see you soon.